What if the samurai had steamships? What if the Industrial Revolution began not in the coal mines of England, but in the rice paddies of Japan? In the early 1600s, the Tokugawa shogunate slammed the doors shut on the world. Foreigners were expelled. Christianity was outlawed. Trade became tightly restricted. For over 2 centuries, Japan entered a self-imposed isolation. But what if they hadn't? What if the Japanese elite had chosen integration over fear? What if they embraced foreign ideas, foreign machines, and industrialized 2 centuries earlier than they actually did? This is the story of a world rewritten by a choice never made. The year is 1600. The Battle of Sekigahara has ended, and Tokugawa Ieyasu is victorious. He will soon become shogun, beginning over 250 years of Tokugawa rule. But he faces a problem. Europe is arriving. Portuguese traders bring firearms. Jesuit missionaries spread Catholicism. Dutch ships offer new technologies. The traditional order is being destabilized. In our timeline, Tokugawa responds with fear. By the 1630s, Japan is sealed off from the world. But let's change just one thing. Let's say the Tokugawa clan sees an opportunity, not a threat. Rather than fearing foreign ideas, they seek to master them. At the Nagasaki docks, Dutch engineers unload crates filled with blueprints, instruments, and gears. For the first time, Japanese craftsmen gather to study machines not for war, but for creation. A new institute opens in Edo, the Bureau of Foreign Knowledge. Samurai sons sit beside merchant apprentices, decoding treatises on metallurgy and mechanics. In a candlelit hall, a Tokugawa advisor presents a radical plan. Build a foundry using European furnace techniques on Japanese soil. Traditionalists protest, foreign tools will rot our spirit. But the shogunate sees something else, independence through mastery. The first prototype steam chamber explodes in a Kyoto workshop. No one is killed, but word spreads, the foreign fire is powerful. Within a year, a functioning water-powered forge operates in Osaka. Steel output triples. Silk weavers line up to buy new tools. A new artisan guild emerges, half engineer, half blacksmith. They call themselves Kogaku no Mano, men of mechanical learning. Rural daimyo begin competing. Who can modernize faster without angering Kyoto? Some build mills, others build schools. Jesuit scholars are invited back, not as preachers, but as translators. The Bible is ignored, the blueprints are copied. By the end of the decade, Japan produces its own version of the Dutch steam pump. It's not elegant, but it works, and it's theirs. The isolationist policy of Sakoku never materializes, and by 1650, Japan is on a new path. Japan begins building primitive steam engines based on early Dutch designs. Osaka becomes the Manchester of the East. By 1700, Japanese engineers are crafting ironworks, textile mills, and even steam-powered ships. A new class of merchant industrialists begins to rival the old samurai elite. More production leads to more trade leads to more wealth. And that wealth fuels more innovation. Japan begins importing coal and experimenting with early rail systems. The first steam-powered rail line is laid between Kyoto and Edo in 1730. Not 1872. And with it, a question emerges. If Japan industrializes this early, how does it change the balance of power in Asia? In the 18th century, European powers are expanding across Asia, but now there's a new player. An industrial Japan begins expanding its maritime activity, not through conquest, but through trade and technology. The Imperial Japanese fleet launches not in the 1880s, but in 1740. Steamships under Japanese banners navigate the South China Sea. Treaties are signed with Korean dynasties, Vietnamese lords, and even the crumbling Ming remnants in China. And China is forced to react. The Qing emperors can no longer ignore technology. Knowledge begins to flow in new directions, for once, from east to west. In this world, Asia is not colonized by Europe. It is transformed by Japan. In this world, China does not experience a century of humiliation. The Opium Wars never happen, or they happen in reverse. In the 1770s, American colonists complain of taxes, but now they hear the Japanese have steamships, they have factories, they are defeating Europeans at sea. And Europe now faces competition. By 1800, cheap Japanese textiles flood the market. By 1810, Japanese engineers are visiting Berlin and Paris, not the other way around. History turned on fear. Fear of the foreign, fear of the new, fear of losing control. But what if that fear had been replaced with curiosity? What if steam had powered not defeat, but the rise of the samurai?